the balance in favor of fair use.
And I've always imagined that there's something living in that lake that chucks me things. It just throws things up at me that I catch. And then I take them in the shed and I work on them. So...
J.K. Rowling, the author behind the beloved Harry Potter series, has captivated the imaginations of millions worldwide with her storytelling. For years, she was a figure universally celebrated for her contributions to literature. But in recent years, Rowling has found herself embroiled in a heated debate surrounding gender identity. In this video, we'll explore how Rowling became a divisive figure in discussions about trans rights, gender identity, and how this controversy has shaped her public image. Before diving into the controversy, let's take a look back at how J.K. Rowling became a cultural icon. Rowling's story is one of literary rags to riches. A single mother living on government assistance, she famously wrote the first Harry Potter novel in cafes, juggling financial struggles and her passion for writing. The book became a global phenomenon, spawning a 7-book series, blockbuster films, and an entire franchise that continues to thrive.
There's a storm coming, Harry. Just like last time.
Rowling's portrayal of themes like love, friendship, and fighting against oppression resonated with fans around the world. However, many of those fans have since struggled to reconcile their love for the magical world of Harry Potter with Rowling's increasingly controversial views on gender identity. The controversy surrounding J.K. Rowling began to unfold in 2019 when she first shared her thoughts on gender identity on Twitter. In June of that year, Rowling expressed support for Maya Forstater, a researcher who lost her job after making comments critical of transgender identity. Rowling tweeted, "Dress however you please. Call yourself whatever you like. Sleep with any consenting adult who'll have you. Live your best life in peace and security. But force women out of their jobs for stating that sex is real?" The tweet set off a firestorm. While some supported Rowling's stance, many saw her comments as transphobic and insensitive. This marked the beginning of a larger, ongoing debate between Rowling and the transgender community, as well as her critics and supporters.
Voluntarily spend hours and hours alone in a fictional world. But the trouble is I can't answer that question either. But that's maybe the more pertinent question. Some of us just are happy living that way, happiest living that way.
In the following months, Rowling expanded on her views in a lengthy blog post published in 2020. In the post, titled "Turf Wars," Rowling defended her stance on the importance of biological sex and expressed concerns over what she perceives as the erasure of women's rights in favor of transgender rights.
It was as though he was trapped in some thick substance he couldn't feel or see. The tree lights had disappeared. All was inky blackness.
Rowling argued that while she supports transgender individuals living their lives in a way that feels authentic to them, she believes that sex and gender should not be conflated. She worries that the rise of gender-affirming healthcare and self-identification laws could threaten the rights and safety of women and girls, particularly in spaces like bathrooms and women's shelters. Rowling's statements were met with significant backlash from LGBTQ+ advocacy groups and activists, who accused her of perpetuating harmful stereotypes about transgender people. Activists argue that Rowling's position denies the lived experiences of transgender individuals and contributes to discrimination against an already marginalized community. Many pointed out that transgender people face higher rates of violence and discrimination, and that rhetoric denying their gender identity only serves to further marginalize them. Prominent LGBTQ+ organizations such as GLAAD condemned Rowling's statements, calling them out as transphobic and harmful. Emma Watson's tweet was a clear stand for inclusivity. She added, "I want my trans followers to know that I and so many other people around the world see you, respect you, and love you for who you are." Eddie Redmayne, who starred in the Fantastic Beasts films, also expressed his disagreement with Rowling, stating in an interview, "I disagree with Joe's comments. Trans women are women, trans men are men, and non-binary identities are valid. There is still much work to be done to end the discrimination against trans communities." These responses from key figures in the Harry Potter universe were lauded by the LGBTQ+ community and fans who felt alienated by Rowling's stance. It created a clear divide between Rowling's views and the actor's support for transgender rights, further intensifying the public debate.
One of the reindeer on her surface was talking and blinking. Third time she's lost me this evening. I've rolled under the radiator. She's panicking. Left the wrapping too late as usual.
While J.K. Rowling has faced widespread criticism, she has also received support from individuals and organizations who agree with her views on biological sex and women's rights. Some argue that the backlash against Rowling is emblematic of a larger issue, the suppression of free speech in discussions about gender and sex. These supporters believe that Rowling is raising valid concerns about the potential impacts of gender identity laws on women's spaces, and they see the backlash as a troubling trend of silencing dissenting voices. They argue that Rowling is being unfairly vilified for expressing opinions that many share but are too afraid to voice publicly. This free speech argument has become a central part of the defense of Rowling's views, with some claiming that it's crucial to allow open debate on such sensitive issues, even if the opinions expressed are controversial.
With a computer, and if you come out and are surrounded by other people, then you feel like you've seen other human beings during the day.
You've got friends.
Exactly.
The controversy surrounding J.K. Rowling has undeniably left its mark on her legacy. While her books continue to sell, and the Harry Potter franchise remains a cultural juggernaut, there's no denying that her image has been altered by this ongoing debate. Many fans have chosen to distance themselves from Rowling, some even going as far as to boycott her works and the Harry Potter brand altogether. Online communities that once celebrated the magic of her stories have shifted focus, with some members discussing how to separate their love for the fictional world from the author herself. Despite this, Rowling's works still hold immense cultural significance, and many continue to appreciate her contributions to literature while criticizing her views on gender identity. Whether or not Rowling's stance will have a lasting impact on the Harry Potter legacy remains to be seen as the debate over J.K. Rowling's views on gender identity continues. It raises larger questions about the balance between free speech and the rights of marginalized communities. Can someone's artistic work be separated from their personal beliefs? And how do we navigate the increasingly polarized discussions around issues like gender identity and women's rights? J.K. Rowling remains one of the most influential authors of our time, but her legacy is now intertwined with a deeply divisive cultural debate. Whether you agree with her views or stand in opposition to them, one thing is clear: the conversation is far from over. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts on this complex and important topic in the comments below.